Alright, Northwoods Cardboard Gang, today we are going to be discussing the Pokemon market. And what does it look like for your investments? Is there stability in this market, or is it just a complete and utter crazy mess? We'll get into it right after this. Alright guys, I'm Eddie with Northwoods TCG, and today we're going to be discussing the Pokemon market, and is now a good time to be investing into the market. And we're going to take a couple examples on what I'm talking about when it comes down to different aspects of the Pokemon market, and why this market isn't crashing, why we are actually seeing some really good things, and I'll go over that later. But before we do that, I want to discuss, of course, coming up, we're going to be doing a box break. That's right. I want to start doing these a little bit more often, and this time we're going to start it back up with Unified Minds. That's right, Unified Minds booster box break. In the description below is a link to be able to purchase your packs for that one. One thing that I didn't like about doing a Unified Minds, but it was a request by you guys. You guys requested this one. I put up all the details of it when it started, and the thing is, it's kind of expensive just because of the fact that it's Unified Minds, and it's a tag team box right now, and all the tag team sets are doing extremely well. So once again, guys, if you guys are interested in jumping in on that, definitely check the link down below. That'll take you right to my Square site where you can purchase a pack, and of course in the description explains that I do sleeve all the hits. I do put them in the card savers, and I do ship them properly so that you get them as safe as possible. So once again, if you are interested in that, definitely hit the link below. Now, carrying on into what I'm discussing today, which is going to be the Pokemon market. Now, a lot of people are still pushing the nomenclature that there is actually a big drop in the market, and there is. Pricing in general has been dropping pretty steadily on some of the hot chase cards in the Pokemon TCG, whether it's the Lugia V, the Charizard V. So far, the Giratina V is holding pretty steadily. Same with the Umbreon VMAX. That one's holding fairly stable. It's dropped a little bit, which is to be expected with the hype and FOMO starting to pull away from that and going towards tag teams now. It's definitely changing that aspect in the pricing on those particular sets. And that's what we see in a normal market, right? We see these ups and downs and these continual changes. Now, some of the non-chase cards, such as that Leafeon and Glaceon, have been holding fairly steady. They haven't been changing much in price, which means they found a nice little stable point to be holding. That Gengar VMAX, once again, holding its price fairly well. And looking even at the Espeon VMAX, it's kind of dropped just a little bit from its high, and now it's kind of sitting down just a little bit lower, but still stabilized fairly nicely at a good price. Once again, to me, dropping prices do not mean that the market's having issues, guys, especially when it comes down to modern singles. A lot of people have this mindset that everything should just continue to go up forever, because we've seen that since 2021, we've seen continual growth on just about everything you purchase, and then it drops, like the Pikachu VMAX and things like that. They do see some drops later on, and we usually see continued growth on these really big chase cards, right? And realistically, that's not how the markets typically work, especially in collectibles. The problem is that with most collectibles, such as the Charizard V, the Lugia V, and the Giratina V, we're gonna see this corrections a lot of times, and that's why most of us, when we're looking at our collection aspects, we are not looking at purchasing these cards usually for the first year or two. Why? Because we're waiting for these corrections to occur, and it's pretty natural to happen. You can see it all the way back through the history of the Pokemon TCG. Chase cards take up precedence, they take up value, they go up in price extremely fast, they look really just promising, and then we see that retraction. Now, the one thing I will say is, I'm going to put it next to me on the screen here, which is going to be these two graphs. And the one graph that you're going to see right over here on this side is going to be current sales. And now this is looking at TCG Player, and this is at this Lugia V, and this V card is sitting here looking at about $150 currently for its sales price. Now that is down considerably from $200 range or $190 range it was 2 months ago. But once again, it's still not a bad price for a V card, considering it's not as hard of a pull as compared to like a VMAX. Like the Umbreon VMAX, I would assume, would be a little bit higher because a VMAX is a harder pull, even in the normal sets, in the normal VMAX realm. But overall, we do see that there are a total of 7 sales on TCG Player just today. At the day of this filming here on the 23rd, we are seeing 7 sales of this particular card. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a look back, and this is going back 1 month. So this is going to be back in June 21st of 2023, or June 23rd of 2023. And this is showing you that there were only 4 sales of that at $175. Now, to me, that's very indicative that, number one, people are thinking that these are already overpriced. And a lot of us did. Even myself, I thought a lot of these alternate arts were holding a lot of value that really wasn't warranted for what you were getting inside of them. Number two, the other part that we're seeing is that means the market is correcting. So we're seeing the market come down to a place on where we are seeing sales again. So with there being only 3 to 4 sales per day, people are trying to move these cards, so they start lowering their price. And as you look down the chart, if you were to go to this particular card and look at the chart for last month, you will see a steady decrease in price by $2 to $3 every single day for the last month, which has brought it down to about that $150, $148 range. This is typical. This is a typical market move when we're looking at the longevity of these particular cards. This is why a lot of places that are saying for your collection or for long-term investments, don't buy cards within the first year or two of them being released. Yes, you may miss some cards. Once again, it's that timing aspect. You might miss some cards when it comes down to actually purchasing them at the wrong time or missing that opportunity, like the Moonbryon. Yes, you may have missed the opportunity for that Moonbryon, but you would have also burned yourself on cards like this Lugia V, the Charizard V, even looking at possibly the Giratina V as we get a little bit further down the line. I predict that card will also start to see some downward pressure just because they were the hot chase cards of those particular sets, and there's a lot of Vs compared to a VMAX. So overall, I do think that there will be a little bit of a price correction potentially on that. So we'll see as this new reprint also comes out is going to really dictate or drive that particular price. So once again, guys, it's just one of those things that when it comes onto the market, just because we are seeing prices start to drop a little bit and come down in price from these all-time highs, we're seeing this market continue to have sales. And if as long as something is liquid and you have liquidity inside of these items, we're still not in a bad place when it comes down to a market crash. And I will never say that it's a Pokemon market crash in Modern when I'm seeing liquidity. When I can go to eBay and see, 10 to 20 sales of PSA cards every day, and the singles are still selling 10 to 20 cards, and you go to TCG Player and we're seeing 7 and 10 cards a day of these high-end, over $100 valued cards in Modern, it's still doing really well, guys. That's really good signs overall that the market is stable and there is a structure to it. It's not chaos, and we're just seeing corrections due to the demand. We have a large supply and a lower demand currently, and you're going to see these retractions and these recalculations of the market, and that's just normal market fluctuations. Now, doesn't mean that they're never going to have value again and that they're never going to go up. Of course not. That does not mean that at all. What that means is that over time we may see more demand as less of these are available, as we get out of all these reprints, as things continually change on these particular sets, we will see these values continue to come back up again. I think they're going to plateau down. Maybe in 3 to 5 years, maybe even 10 years, we'll see some really good value in these particular cards. Overall, I think alternate arts are here to stay. I think that they're a great art form when it comes down to Pokemon. I think Pokemon did a really good job on alternate arts, and I see some really good futuristic value being the first ones of these style cards where we are seeing some really beautiful artwork inside of them that are great collection pieces for a lot of collectors in the future, especially of those fan favorite Pokemon such as that Charizard V or that Lugia V. They're definitely going to be one of those cards that people are going to want to display futuristically, and they're definitely a good value in them. So once again, work on your timing of understanding how these singles work. Get into it in the right time for your Pokemon investment to be able to jump into these modern cards at a reasonable price. Wait them out. If you miss a couple of them, it is what it is, guys. There's plenty of opportunities for long-term investments in these things, even for your collections. A lot of times the craziness happens in the first year or two, and after the craziness ends, they drop down in price. Last thing I want to be talking about when it comes down to the overall Pokemon market. If you are a flipper in this particular market, it's going to become more and more difficult to continue to do that aspect of Pokemon TCG. If you're planning on just going to your local store like GameStop, Walmart, or Target and buy product, come home and sell it instantly on eBay for double the price, making some decent margins on these particular products, it isn't going to happen any longer. It's going to become very, very dry when it comes down to that for the market, which to me isn't always a bad thing. I think that we could see some really good stability in the market if we can get rid of that flipping aspect. It gets more people the opportunity to get cards and more packs open, which in turn means that you might be seeing more singles show up, of course, which may pull down that singles market even further. But overall, it gets them out into circulation. We can see what we've got. More people are going to be willing to open up sealed products because, of course, there's not that ability to flip, and the game might actually be shifting over to selling singles and, of course, getting graded cards. Graded cards, of course, are still doing rather well when it comes down to the overall price. Even the Lugia V, I just sold my PSA 9 for $195 plus shipping. So once again, I'm right there where the market value's been on that particular card for about the last 2 months, 3 months. So overall, not a bad deal. Definitely hit the market and the margin right where I wanted to be on that particular card. And once again, that still shows that there is some liquidity in this market. I only had it listed for about 6 days. I wasn't willing to take some offers that came up on it. I was pretty set on my price because of the way the market looked, and it turned out really well for myself. Once again, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to tell you that there is liquidity in this market, and sometimes holding your price and keeping the value where you think it should be will turn out to do rather well for you in the end. So be patient. Patience is going to become a big key when it comes down to these particular products over time, and it's definitely going to be a game changer when you use patience to be able to make good decisions on what products you should buy, hold, and sell, and make the best out of what you've got. Now it's time for efficiency, guys. The market is changing. It is no longer a place for messy, quick changes. I might screw up and get a couple of them sitting on a shelf, but these ones will make up my difference, and I'll be able to still make money. That stuff's going to go away rather quickly, and you're going to have to be very efficient and understand the market and understand timing and be patient to see how things unfold when you go into a lot of these purchases in the Pokemon TCG. So once again, guys, hopefully it's some good information. Hopefully this helps you out on your Pokemon journey when you're looking at the Pokemon market and investments when it comes down to modern Pokemon products. Patience, number one. Two, market's still looking good. We're seeing good liquidity. We're seeing things really move really well. We're seeing some really good values still happening on these products. Even so, I mean, if I could have sold a raw at 150, I sold a PSA 9 at 195. You know, the PSA 10s are still selling at over $100 or $350. So once again, there's some good stepping value inside of there for the 9s and 10s, and definitely some opportunities when it comes down to selling and purchasing these particular products. So overall, guys, market looks healthy. I think it looks really good. 151 could be a complete game changer. We still are primed to have some really good opportunities and some really good things happen here. So we could see some really good things happen when Pokemon 151 hit. All right, guys, if you made it this far in the video, once again, thank you. And be sure you hit that subscribe so you keep up to date with the modern Pokemon investment. And also hit that like button on the video to help it out. It helps it out a ton to do that. And of course, it's free for you to do that and help the channel right along. If you do like this kind of content, definitely check out these 2 videos I will be putting at the end. One more reminder, I'm going to be doing the Choose Your Path series, but I'm going to change the format of it. Instead of it trying to be every week and doing these little blocks, I'm going to try and space it out from now on where we're doing one video every other week. And we're going to be kicking that off again here in the next week. And I'm going to try and do every other week just because of time constraints and being able to sit down and do the long interview and then go ahead and edit it and get it all posted. It's a lot of work to get done in 1 week, and it all gets kind of packed and compacted down to where I start missing weeks, and I'd rather not do that. I'd rather be consistent for you guys so that you guys can get some more knowledge from different content creators in the Pokemon TCG. So once again, if you do like this kind of content and you've made it this far, hit the subscribe. Reminder, Unified Minds box break down in the description below, and 2 videos at the end of this. And we'll see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.